Hey, good evening. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. Welcome to the nighttime version of my show. How's everybody doing this evening? It's radio style. Kick back a little bit, have a cup of Joe, or just relax. Listen, it's a long day. I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch this morning's video. And it's a very important video, like every video, in my opinion, is, but especially this morning's, because it talks about something that may be a little bit uncomfortable for some people. Some people, we get to be broke a little bit before payday because many of us are still living paycheck to paycheck. Not that that's a crime or anything, it's just something that we're all going to try to move away from and bridge the gap. And I did a lot of thinking between the time that video aired this morning to the moment of right now. What do I mean by that? Well, actually, I was thinking, like, for those that don't have an official emergency fund, I was thinking, why can't we come up with an idea like this? A fill in the gap fund doesn't have to be a huge dollar amount. This is something that, in my opinion, is easily obtainable, easy to do, but very important to have. Never ever underestimate what a little bit more money can do as opposed to less money can do. You know, these days are more challenging than ever. I don't have to get into it. Do I need to tell you that the prices seem to be out of control? And in fact, in many times they are out of control. But we can't control that. What we can do is control our choices. What we can do is try to put ourselves in a position to be ahead of the game. This is the reason why I'm always emphasizing, even though I'm still in kindergarten about this, the stockpiling thing. Stockpile, stockpile, stockpile. And I want to thank everybody who helped influence me to really taking a better approach to it. I am so grateful that I was stockpiled to a degree, 2 to 3 weeks worth of food during Superstorm Sandy, when many people in my local area laughed as I was building my little stockpile back then. They laughed, but they ended up being the same people who needed help, and I helped them out, no problem. But I don't want to talk about that particular incident. What I would like to discuss is what can we do for this fill in the gap fund? And think about this for a minute. How many times were you ever caught short? You don't have to mention it in the comment section. I'm just asking for you to recall this in your mind's eye. Did it ever happen to you? Maybe not now, maybe things are a lot better, but looking back in the, harder, tougher times in your life, think about this. Were you ever in a situation where you don't get paid for a good 4 or 5 days, and you don't want to ask anyone because you're not going to borrow money, whatever, but it was a very, very tough thing. Very, very tough thing. And you didn't have a per se emergency fund. This is why I'm thinking, wouldn't it be good? Wouldn't it be a great idea to start a fill in the gap fund? That could be as little as or as much as you want. For example, let's say $30 would make an entirely big difference between now and Friday till you get paid. Just saying Friday as an example, if you're getting paid Friday. If you had that $30 versus, gee, you're scratching your head and you don't have it, and you have to go to the grocery store. So take it seriously. If you didn't see this morning's video, I strongly suggest that you check it out so you see what I mean in connection to this. How many of you out there are willing to try to make a fill in the gap fund? Name it and claim it. Get an old jar, get an old piggy bank. Hey, there's something to be said about change. Change is money. There's nothing wrong with that, and it adds up. It becomes real. And dollar here, a dollar there, while other people are laughing, you're putting your little fund together. Let them laugh. Who cares? People that think that it doesn't add up, just let them have their laugh if they're laughing, which is ridiculous in the first place, in my honest opinion. So I just wanted to say this to you because it might make your life easier, because it may not be feasible for you to get your $2,000 to $3,000 emergency fund started right at this minute, when all you're really looking for at the moment is something to tide you over until payday. I have to mention this beautiful channel, Mornings with Granny. If you're listening, Mornings with Granny, just want to say hi to you and thank you for all you do for everyone. Because the Mornings with Granny channel, I want to say this. She has inspired me in so many ways. She started a show, I forgot the exact name of it. And basically, I believe she would call the series What Would You Do? And what Granny would do, Mornings with Granny would do, and I could link up one of those videos in the description box below. What she would do is put out a number of items. What would you do to last till your next time that you get paid? It might be, let's say, a half a gallon of milk, or with two frankfurters, or an apple, or whatever, like just a very paltry amount of food. What would you do to feed a family between now and the time you get your next check? And it really makes one think. So that conscientious behavior makes one think. First of all, it gives me an attitude of gratitude. And it makes me think, well, what could we do? But in addition to that, so I would like to hook up a video of hers in the description box below. But in addition to that, what would you do? It is not good to have zero funds. You have to have something. So all I'm saying is, as much as possible, put $1 away here, $2 away there. I know it's uncomfortable to hear this, and some people think it's not cool to talk about stuff like this, but guess what? I don't care about that. I care about people. And I think that if it can help just one listener out there tonight, if there's just one listener out there tonight that I inspired to get started on this little fun and do it, get in the habit of it. Because if you do this, let's think about this for a second. Let's say you get paid twice a month and you decided that you're not going to go for the fluffer. You're more mindful of where your money's going in the first place. Oh, I don't need that second bag of chips. I don't need to buy that outside coffee. I know the coffee story. I don't need to eat that fast food when I have burgers sitting in my refrigerator. How many times does that happen? You have burgers in your refrigerator and yet still you go out and eat burgers. I'm talking about people that are in a position that really can't afford to do that. That money could go into, let's say, a fill in the gap fund. And then that bridges you into your next check. And that's the whole idea, to build upon, to build upon, and build upon. That way, one day, there is no gap. As a matter of fact, later on this week, there's going to be a video out that I did called talks about quitting the paycheck to paycheck club. You don't want to live in the paycheck to paycheck club for the rest of your life. I don't think you do. I really don't. So let's get started in that manner. Another thing I want to mention is that once you get on your feet, sit down and know what are your monthly expenses. Be honest. Everything. It's not going to hurt you to write down the numbers. They're only numbers on paper. But it makes it more real for you to get the thing started. And once you could save up for that amount, guess what? You already saved up 1 month's worth of emergency fund to live on. I think that's fantastic. But for right now, we start small. Let's start with the fill in the gaps to payday fund. Think of it as like brick and mortar. Those bricks can't stick together without the mortar, right? So think of that fund as a little bit of mortar to get you from one check to the next. And in the meantime, this has been Jan from New York City. Thank you so much for listening this evening. I really do appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to come back in the future for some more messages, and I do appreciate it. And I'm looking now for my outro. Let's see if I have it. I'll be right back. Have an amazing, fantastic night. See you tomorrow morning at 5. Take good care. Good night.